The twisted hillscape of the Emyn Muil lay before Eleanor, a maze of twisting ravines and rocky hills. Somewhere in this labyrinth the creature Gollum had fled. The dense thorn-brakes and thickets would give him plentiful places to hide and elude his pursuers. Beside her the Dunedain chieftain Aragorn stood, holding the reins of his horse in one hand, the other shading his eyes as he surveyed the land before them. Suddenly a sharp whistle escaped between his teeth, and he bent to whisper to her. "There's a troop of mounted warriors ahead of us, not a mile and a half distant. At least a dozen, maybe more. I will go ahead and see if they be friend or foe." Eleanor nodded at his words. "Caution will serve us better here than boldness, I deem. We will remain here, and endeavor to stay unseen." Hello, I am Onidson, and this is Agents of the White Council, my narrative campaign for the Lord of the Rings, the card game, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games, in which I follow a group of heroes as they quest across the length and breadth of Middle-earth, fighting back against the Shadow in the east. Today we will be playing The Hills of Emyn Muil, the fourth adventure pack in the Shadows of Mirkwood cycle. It is, all in all, a largely unremarkable quest, noted mostly for its focus on locations. It is not a quest I am hugely fond of. It can turn very easily into a slog, but hopefully the decks that I have put together for this will be able to minimize the slog parts and get this done in a timely fashion. Deck 1 is a mono leadership deck, Elfhelm, Aragorn, Theodred, focusing on Rohan, a number of the discarded from play mechanics, and then recurring the allies as necessary with Guthwine, while deck 2 is kind of our standard Eleanor, Lanwin, Thalen deck that has formed kind of the core of our narrative focus. There aren't any really interesting surprises in these decks, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and examine our hands and decide whether we want to take a mulligan or not. And immediately, deck 1 is going to say we're keeping this hand. We have a Dunedain message, which we can use to pull out our side quest, get some card draw online early in the game. We also have Celebrian Stone. I believe the C in that is a hard C, so Celebrian, not Celebrian, although it could go either way. And therefore we can play that and get a spirit resource icon on Aragorn, and at that point we are off to the races, as it were. Deck 2 is, well, let's just say I'm a lot less happy about it. As an opening hand, it leaves enough to be desired that I think that I'm going to take a mulligan. I'd much rather see some of the other attachments, maybe some of the song attachments in the opening hand. And that is exactly much more like what I was looking to see here. We have a Song of Travel. We can play it either on Thalen to let us get some more spirit cards out, or we can play it across the table, ideally onto Theodred, and increase the proportion of spirit cards that we can pay for with deck 1. Either way, it will be useful. So, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and get started on the quest. The Hills of Emyn Muil. The hunt for Gollum has led you to the south, and you are now approaching Raurith's Falls and the nearby hills of Emyn Muil. Set up search the encounter deck for Amon Hen and Amon Law, and add them to the staging area, then shuffle the encounter deck. Here they are. X is double the number of players in the game for the threat cost, so let's set that up now. Each of these locations is 4 threat, so we start out with 8 threat in the staging area. This is going to get interesting, I think, but still, it's a thing we can deal with. So we'll advance to quest stage 1B. You are certain that Gollum has fled into this area, and you must explore until you find the fresh trail. So there's a forced effect. If there's no location cards in the staging area, the first treachery revealed gains surge, and we cannot defeat this stage unless there are no Emyn Muil locations in play, and we've collected at least 20 victory points. All of the Emyn Muil locations in the deck have victory points on them, so as we explore more locations, we'll be moving towards completing the quest. It's that bit about no Emyn Muil locations in play that can make this quest into a slog. You have complete control over it. You're questing successfully every round, clearing the location every round, and just about ready to win, and then you reveal another location, and another one, and another one, and it takes you 4 or 5 turns longer than it should have for you to win the quest, just because no matter what you do, another location just keeps coming off the deck. But I've included tech to deal with that, I hope. So, let's go ahead, start the game, draw our first card, a second copy of Celebrian Stone. That's, well, less happy, but I guess it's out of the way now. Let's go ahead and play a Dunedin message. Search the entire deck for the side quest Prepare for Battle. Close and shuffle. Spend a resource from Theodred's pool to play Prepare for Battle. We are going to be questing to it and seeing if we can't get some card draw online from the beginning. Over here, let's start off getting a shield onto Eleanor. There's not a lot of combat in this quest, but it does exist, and it is good to be prepared for it. Let's go ahead and play Westroad Traveler, improve our willpower, and now let's go ahead and commit everybody to the quest. Well, not everybody, but close enough. Elfhelm, Aragorn, Theodred, passing a resource to Aragorn. We're not going to use Aragorn's ability this round. Lanwin, Thalin, and a Westroad Traveler. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are committing 10 to the quest against 8 threat in the staging area. We're probably going to lose questing this round. In retrospect, it might have been best to play one of the Celebrian Stones, whichever one it is, and then put out Prepare for Battle next turn, because we aren't going to be able to clear it anyways. But hindsight's 20/20. Our first reveal, Enchanted Stream. Our second reveal, Orc Horse Thieves, which are going to get +2 attack, and we have Doomed 2. So we've added 5 threat to the staging area, and we are, in fact, going to lose the quest by 3. And now we have a choice. We can either not play events or treat all of our attachments as if they were blank, and I would rather not lose Eleanor's Gondorian shield, so let's go ahead and travel to Amon Hen and engage some horse thieves who now only have 2 attack, Eleanor can defend safely. No shadow effect. We can't kill them this round, but we have options now. Okay, we've drawn our card, Song of Kings. We've drawn our card, Snowmane. That will be fine. Over here, deck 2 is first player. We will spend 2 to play Unexpected Courage, and 1 to play Dagger of Westerness. The York Horse Thieves have a 35 engagement cost. Lanwin is still underneath them, so she will be attacking for 5, which will be enough to put some damage on them. Over here, Theodred and Elfhelm will put Celebrian's Stone onto Aragorn. He will get +2 willpower. And now, the first thing we're going to do is to play Snowmane onto Theodred, who will get a boost to his defense. And play a Westfold Horsebreeder. Look at the top 10 cards of the deck for a mount attachment. Windfalla and the Steed of Imladris are our options. Either are possible choice. Both can be attached either to a Spirit hero or a Noldor hero or Eowyn, neither of which is in play at the moment. So, to our Spirit heroes, presumably not to Eleanor, attaching Windfalla to Lanwin would boost her willpower significantly. On the other hand, a Steed of Imladris would let us start discarding cards to put progress on the active location. That's slightly frustrating. I don't know which one. Best, actually, since I don't actually have a lot of cards available to discard, let's pull out Windfalla for the willpower boost. Yes, let's do that. And shuffle everything back in, and play Windfalla onto Lanwin, boosting her willpower by 2, 1 for Elfhelm's effect, and 1 for Windfalla. And now... Oh, yes, and the Orc Horse Thieves should have taken a damage from Thalen when they were revealed from the encounter deck. So now, let's go ahead and quest. We'll send Lanwin. We'll hold Thalen back, because between Lanwin's 5 and Thalen's 2, we can kill the Orc Horse Thieves this round. So we'll commit Lanwin's 4, 6 with the Westroad Traveler, 7 passing a resource to Aragorn, who will use it to quest and ready, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Questing for 14 against 6. Alright. The first card we reveal is... There is an active location. We remove all progress tokens from it and return it to the staging area. Or we... No. As Treacheries go, that one's rather tame. I don't want to cancel it and just have it be replaced by, say, Rock Slide. And the East Wall of Rohan. So we have added 8 threat to the staging area. We break even exactly. So we'll travel to the East Wall of Rohan. The Orc Horse Thieves are now attacking for 4. Lanwin will ready. And Eleanor will block the Horse Thieves. Taking a damage, actually. And now we will attack and kill them with Lanwin and Thalen. And now we will ready everybody up. Draw new cards. There's Guthwine. And an Honor Guard. Alright. Deck 1 is first player. So we will go ahead and play Guthwine onto Theodred. Unfortunately, we can't play one of the Riddermark's finest because spending a resource to put that Song of Travel onto Theodred has to happen after. So Theodred is now questing for 2. And with our other resource, we'll put a Song of Kings onto Eleanor. It'll make her eligible for an Armored Destrier should we draw it. And we'll save up probably for Grimbold. So, go questing again. 1, 2, 6, 8. Passing a resource to Aragorn, we'll leave it there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 16. Questing for 16 against 10, but we only need to make 2 progress. First reveal, Dol Guldur Orcs. Let's put a couple damage on Thalen. And the second reveal is pursued by Shadow, sorry. And that one is surprisingly inconsequential. We just raised our threat by 1, that's fine. We've added 2 threat. We're going to make 4 progress. We clear the East Wall of Rohan, and we will travel again to Amon, where we are not permitted to play events. We will engage the older orcs, and Theodred readies because we quested successfully. Ready Lanwin with Unexpected Courage, and block with Eleanor. Nothing. Lanwin kills the orcs. And next turn, everybody readies. Alright. So our card draw is still not online, but that's fine. Deck 2 is first player. Spend a resource from Eleanor to put Ancient Matham on Amon. If we clear it, we'll draw 3 cards, which we kind of need at this point. And I'm going to save up 1 more turn and get Grimbold into play. Over here, we'll spend 2 to drop a Riddermark's Finest. I think that seems fine. There's currently only 6 threat in the staging area. And we will quest 2, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 16 again against the 6 in the staging area. Ready, or reveal an orc horse thieves. Doomed. Take a damage from Thalen. Oh. Theodred passes resource to Aragorn. I had been intending on readying him, but apparently that isn't happening. And second reveal. Impassable Chasm again. That will return Emyn Muil to the staging area. And we will let it go through. Meaning we've added, there's now 8, 10, 13 threat in the staging area. We'll exhaust and discard the Rittermark's Finest to put 2 progress on the Enchanted Stream, clearing it. Bringing the total threat down to 11. We make 5 progress on the quest, clearing Prepare for Battle. And Theodred readies because we quested successfully, and Lanwin readies. And now we will travel again to Emyn Muil. We will optionally engage some more horse thieves who are at 2 attack, and we will take the attack undefended, putting the damage onto Theodred. Now we will strike back with Theodred and Guthwine for 4 attack, and Lanwin for another 4, which is 8, enough to kill the horse thieves. And because we did that, Guthwine lets us return the Rittermark's Finest to our hand. Ready everybody up. Draw Windfalla and a Dagger of Westerness, and deck 1 draws 1 more card. There we go. That's something. Deck 1 is first player, so we will spend 4 to put Eothane into play, and 2 more to put another copy of the Rittermark's Finest into play, and 1 final one to put a Song of Battle onto Lanwin, who is now attacking for 5, and 6 against enemies with a higher engagement cost than her threat, but that's not likely to be seen. Now we'll spend 3 to get Grimbold into play, and 2 from Lanwin's resource pool to put out a Westfold Outrider. And now our board state is fairly established, and we should be able to move quickly right through this. So 2, 6, 7, 8, readying Aragorn with the resource from Theodred, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 20. Against 4 threat in the staging area. The first reveal, Treacherous Fog, and then each player has to choose and discard a card. I will discard Celebrian's Stone and the Dagger of Westerness. And the second reveal is Rarus Falls. So we've added 4 threat to the staging area, 2 for Rowers Falls, and then 1 to each location from the treachery. So we're making 12 progress, which is 5 and 7. We clear the active location and draw 3 cards with Ancient Malin. And, you know what? Now would be a good time to travel to Emyn Muil and have all of my attachments be blank. So, we lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 willpower out of the bargain, but we get all of that out of the staging area. Our current victory display total is 8. We need 20 to win. And we draw an extra card for Prepare for Battle, a Test of Will. That's nice. We will play a Dunedain Pathfinder, looking at the top 5 cards in the encounter deck. And we will grab the Shores of Nen Hithwel, which the Rittermark's Finest will immediately exhaust and discard to send it to the victory display. And then over here, deck 2 has no access to Spirit Resource icons. However, we can and will in the quest phase, so we'll move past the planning phase, it's now the quest phase. We will sneak attack Gandalf into play, dropping our threat by 5. And now we will quest 2, 4, 5, passing a resource to Aragorn, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. Against 2. The first card of staging is Rowers Falls, the second is a Dol Guldur Orcs, but the damage on Gandalf, we've added 4 progress, or 4 threat, we make 15 progress. Clearing Emyn Muil, traveling to Rowers Falls, optionally engaging Theodred readied because we quested successfully, Gandalf returns to hand. And now, oh yes, we cleared the location, so Snowmane has its text back, and Theodred can ready. And Lanwin can ready from Unexpected Courage. Aragorn will block the Dol Guldur Orcs, and Theodred will kill them with Guthwine, returning the Rittermark's Finest to hand. And now we will move on to the next turn, drawing a Snowborn Scout. And another copy of a Test of Will. I cannot complain about that. Deck 1 is first player. I'll just go ahead and play both copies of the Rittermark's Finest and a Snowborn Scout, which will place, well, the Snowborn Scout is really not important yet, so let's just play a Song of Battle onto Theodred. who will now be attacking for 5, should that be needed. And over here, deck 2, we'll play an Honor Guard, and we will save up. Oh, did we draw an extra card on deck 1 for... I don't think we drew our extra card for Prepare for Battle. Oh, a Horse Breeder. That might have changed the way we played things, but we can play it next round. It'll be fine. So, we're traveling to Rowers Falls, so everybody will have to commit to the current quest. Or I exhaust and discard both copies of the Rittermark's Finest to clear it. No, I think I'm going to clear... No, actually, neither of those is a good idea. We'll just go with it. We'll use Theodred's resource to ready Aragorn. So that's 2, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 24. And we have a bunch of not so useful characters. Or characters that are not so useful for questing committed, but not much we can do about it. The first reveal we get is Necromancer's Pass, and the second is Unimpassable Chasm, which, you know what? I also feel like just letting it, well, if we let it go through, then we're stuck with, no, actually, we will cancel it with a Test of Will. Why? Because that means that we've added 3 threat to the staging area. There is currently 5 there, and we make 15 more progress onto the main quest. Clearing Rowers Falls, there's now 18 victory points. Travel to Rowers Falls. In the refresh phase, we will exhaust and discard both of our Rittermark's Finest to place 4 progress tokens on Rowers Falls, clearing it and bringing the total number of victory points in the victory display to 21. Now, there are no Emyn Muil locations in play. The Necromancer's Pass is not an Emyn Muil location, and we have collected at least 20 victory points, and thus have won the game. There we go. With 6 completed rounds, since we won in the refresh phase, therefore before the end of the 7th round, I think we did rather well. This is, as noted, a fairly easy quest, and so I put together some fun decks rather than some really optimized decks, and we didn't get to see all of their tricks. It turned out that with the Rittermark's Finest, that was all the location control we needed to be able to manage the amount of Emyn Muil locations and staging. If we had found ourselves in a more obnoxious position, we had the event Backtrack in our deck that we could have played to move some of this copious progress that we did not need onto a location in the staging area, possibly using that to clear out a last Emyn Muil location and thus win the game. Didn't get any of the Rovanian Outriders out. They could have been useful, and in earlier test plays were quite useful in clearing out locations in the staging area and thus leaving in a place where we could win the game. In deck 1, we saw a great deal of what was available there. There were a few mounts we never saw. The Armored Destroyer would have been for Eleanor. Not that there's enough combat in the quest to justify it. Rohirrim on Aragorn is obviously a very synergistic pairing with Elfhelm. Playing it on Aragorn immediately gives him +1 defense from being a leadership hero, but also Rohirrim gives him a tactics icon, which means he also gets +1 attack. So for this 2-cost attachment, you end up with Aragorn being a 4 attack, 3 defense hero who can immediately resolve an attack against an enemy after you engage them. And if you can get Celebrian's Stone out, he turns into a 5 willpower, 4 attack, 3 defense hero, which is not insignificant. We did get Theodred fully loaded out, which I kind of enjoyed. He's questing for 2, then readying and attacking for 5, which is kind of fun. As you can see, a little attachment intensive, but for a hero that has long been panned is not the right word. He's long been considered a useful hero, but more for his ability than his stats. It's kind of fun to actually build him up to take advantage of his stats and actually use him in the combat phase, as well as just questing for 1 and passing out a resource. Other than that, well, that's the quest. I'm kind of glad it's over, and I'm kind of glad it didn't turn into an incredibly long slog. I hope you come back next time as we take what I'm hoping to be a 2-hero deck, Aragorn and Arwen up against the Dead Marshes, and see if we can't capture Gollum as thematically as possible, with just trying to build up those 2 heroes and maybe a few supplemental allies if we find that we can't get around it any other way. So, thank you very much, and I hope you come back the next time. Goodbye.